Hi everyone and welcome back to a Frugal Tech channel. I wanted to do a video that is a little bit more unscripted, so here you go. I have this old desktop computer here and a friend gave it to me some months ago and it needs a bit of cleaning and restoring, so I wanted to show you the whole process. First of all, let me tell you what you will need to clean and restore this old computer. A can of compressed air. You can also use your vacuum cleaner to help yourself. Q-tips, napkins or handkerchiefs. Some whistling alcohol to clean everything. Some screwdrivers. A clean rag. And a syringe of thermal compound. I will use this Arctic MX4. Let's have a look at the computer. Okay, so this computer is an old Olidata Intel Core 2 Duo. It used to run Windows Vista, so I think it is at least a decade old, maybe even more. And as we can see here from the front of the case, the PC has got a DVD drive and also this multi-card reader, which I believe does not support high-capacity storage devices, two USB 2.0 ports and a headphone and microphone jack. On the back of the motherboard we can see some legacy ports here for mouse and keyboard, a parallel port which could be useful for an old printer, a serial port, and here I believe we have a VGA port that has been plugged, I don't know why. Also we find 4 USB 2.0 ports, Ethernet, and I believe this is not gigabit Ethernet, it is probably 1000 megabit Ethernet, and analog audio. Also we can see that this computer has got a dedicated video card, dedicated graphics card that supports DVI, HDMI, which is very good, and the old Super Video. And here we have the power supply, of course. Let's open this thing up and let's see what can we do to restore it. Okay, so after you have opened the case, the first thing you want to do is to check if the PC still works. Fixing, cleaning and restoring a PC that has its motherboard knocked out will be a waste of time. Also, as you can hear, this PC is seriously loud because probably all this dust and these years have rendered thermal paste ineffective and also have obstructed the airflow, so the fans need to go on full tilt to cool this computer properly. Another thing that you can see is that this PC does not have any storage device. So anyway, let's get into the BIOS and see what are the components of this PC. You can see here that on the SATA 2 ports we have the DVD-ROM drive. The CPU is an Intel Core 2 Duo E8400, which is a dual core, I believe, running at 3 GHz. With a front side bus speed of 1.3 GHz and 6 megabytes of level 2 cache, so it's not that bad actually. We could change it for a more powerful quad-core CPU, but you know, I just in the meantime let's just show these PC components and then let's move on. Also here the BIOS shows that we have 3 gigabytes and 328 megabytes. I believe that this means we have 4 gigabytes of RAM. Also, as you can probably see about here, we have NVIDIA GeForce 9600 GT with 512 megabytes of RAM. Okay, so first thing that the BIOS did not show is that this motherboard is an ASUS, as you can see from this heatsink here, and the model is the IP48LME. So well, that's an interesting thing. Now let's have a look at the RAM memory. Before you unplug every component, you have to make sure that every power cable has been disconnected and the condensers are not charged. So you might want to press the power button for 2 or 3 seconds just in case. So let's just remove the RAM and have a look at it. To remove a RAM slot, you just need to open these levers here. There's one here also. And there you go. Oh, damn it. The RAM slot can't be removed unless I remove the video card first. Let's do it. Okay, this video card is held in place by this screw here. You just need to remove it with a screwdriver and then you can take the video card out of its PCI Express slot carefully. Also, you will need to remove every connection that the video card has to the power supply. So in this case, we need to remove this 6-pin power connector. Since I have made a very stupid mistake because I forgot to remove this screw here, which still holds the graphics card into place. Okay, I have removed the GPU. It is very dusty, especially on the back side, but we'll think about that later. Let's move on. After removing the video card, I have been able to remove the memory as well, and as you can see here, we have two 2GB DDR2 sticks. So we have 4 GB of RAM, which is very good news. Now we need to look at the CPU, and to do this we need to remove some connectors and remove this heatsink as well. So let's do it. Okay, so we have removed the CPU cooler. I've also decided to remove this 4-pin connector here. I don't know if you can see here, because I wanted to speed up the removing of the cooler. And as you can see, there is seriously a lot of dust and also the old thermal paste onto the CPU itself. Okay, since this motherboard is so dusty, I think that removing every remaining connector and cleaning it up is the most clever idea. So let's just remove this SATA connectors here and this 24-pin power connector, and then we shall clean everything up. Okay, so now I have removed really everything, even the front panel connectors, and as you can see, it's seriously dusty around here. So let's fire up the vacuum cleaner. Okay, so I have cleaned the motherboard successfully. It now looks a lot tidier, and some other parts of the PC has been cleaned as well, such as this bottom part of the case, the power supply here, which was not really dusty actually. Also, I have decided to clean the back of the video card, which now looks a lot better, and a little bit of the front, but I will have to do something more later, so I did not bother a lot with it. And finally, I have cleaned this CPU cooler. Unfortunately, I was not able to remove the fan, so my job was not perfect, but it will do just fine. Okay, so you need to remove the old thermal paste. For doing this, we will use this cleaning alcohol, and we will also have to use these paper napkins and these Q-tips as well. We will have to clean both the CPU here, as you can see, and the cooler. Okay, so our CPU has been cleaned, our CPU cooler has been cleaned as well, and now we can put our thermal compound on the CPU. And it is actually very straightforward. You just put a little bit of thermal paste onto the processor. Don't put too little or else your CPU will overheat, and try not to put too much of it or else you will just make a mess. There you go. A little bit more. Perfect. Okay, we have reinstalled our CPU cooler. Now, if you have screws to screw in, make sure to follow a crisscross pattern while you're doing this, so the thermal paste can spread out more evenly and the CPU won't be subjected to excessive mechanical stress. Also, you will need to reconnect here the fan connector, and then you will be good to go. Now our CPU has got a new fresh thermal paste and the CPU cooler has been reinstalled. Let's change the thermal paste to the GPU as well. Okay, so now let's use our screwdriver to remove these 4 screws located on the back of the video card. Now I had to remove a warranty sticker here in order to be able to remove the screw. You might want to take this into consideration if your video card has still got a valid warranty. But anyway, let's just remove these screws and remove the video card cooler. We also need to disconnect the fan header, which is located here, and we can also remove the fan, which is connected to the cooler by these screws, one here, and one here. Okay, let's disconnect the fan. So I've finally been able to remove the video card cooler. It actually snapped away from the card because the old thermal grease was so thick that I had to use some brute force. But if your video card is not a piece of antique like this one, you might want to hit the video card cooler first before risking to crack the GPU chip. Okay, now let's just clean everything a little bit better and change the thermal paste as we did in the CPU. Okay, so our GPU chip has been completely cleaned and the GPU cooler is clean as well. So I had a bit of a problem because the old thermal paste was really hard to remove, so I decided to help myself with this. You can do it as well. This is a plastic card, which is a little bit more flexible than a credit card, but I think a credit card should work nonetheless. And also, because I have been able to remove the GPU cooler fan, I have decided to rinse the GPU cooler in water. If you do it, remember to dry it with an air dryer or something like that. So okay, right now we can put our new fresh Arctic MX4 thermal compound, and as I did before, I just put a little bit of thermal paste onto the graphics chip. A bit more. Okay. And now we can reassemble everything together. And there you go, looks good as new. Now we can put the video card and all the other components back into our system. Let's do it. Okay, now we have connected all the cables back to the motherboard. Just one recommendation: if your front panel connectors, which are located in this mess around here, are not connected properly, your PC won't boot up, so don't go into panic mode and start wrecking everything, but just try to remember your connections, or have a look on the motherboard circuit, or on your motherboard's manual if you still have it. You might find the right connection method. If you still don't find anything, just do a slower but still effective trial and error procedure. Okay, let's connect the memory and the video card back. Okay, the only thing remaining is to check if the system still works after all the cleaning and thermal paste changing. And looks like we did it. The system is still working. It is a little bit less loud than before, and I hope it will still be able to run for some more years with some fresh thermal paste. I think that is all for this video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff, and remember to stay frugal.